Hi everybody, welcome back to Mountaineer Bushcraft and Survival Systems. Today we're going to do another little blast from the past. What we have here is my original bushcraft and camp knife. So stick with me here and we'll get right into this. Well, here she is. This is a knife that I do believe picked up at maybe a Napa auto parts store. And that would have been back somewhere in the neighborhood, early 90s, mid 90s at the latest. Clip point. It's about 10 3/4 inches, or no, 11 3/4 inches overall, and has about a 5-inch blade on it. The cutting edge itself, I think, sits somewhere just lower 4 3/4. Yeah, eighth inch stock on it. It's not a true full tang. I mean, it's pretty close. That steel is, over 3/4 of the way through this entire handle. There's a thinner section here, but for the most part, it's pretty durable. And of course, there's no cutouts. I don't know how well it'll pick it up. The damage on the spine from just absolutely being brutalized for many, 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 many years. And the tip at one point had been slightly damaged. But I just took a file a long time ago and put a new edge back on that and redid the tip. This knife at the time cost about $10. And other than it's a stainless steel, I don't got a lot of information about this knife. It's a Maxim, made in Japan. Yeah, Maxim, made in Japan. A little bit of a glare there. It may be hard to see. And tape on there is because a small chunk of the wood on the handle here was damaged. And, my younger self, that was my solution. And that is new tape. I put that new tape on there, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. And we'll not forget the wonderful sheath, held together mostly by tape. And yeah, that don't really get much use nowadays. It's best attempts to keep it. And this is not the original snap. It was just a cheapo knife I had. I slid that in there because it fit to replace the one that was in there. And this one here is even pretty well dry rotted out. Now, despite my best abilities over the years to keep this conditioned and oiled, it still went the way of most leather knives. So granted, this is far from a good leather sheath. Pretty thin, cheap stuff. But believe it or not, though, it still rides in it. Of course, most of this sticking out because it shrunk and curled up over the years. But I don't carry this anymore. It's kind of like a relic of the past for me. It has one nick in the blade that I actually didn't put there. Early 2000s, I was out getting yellow root ginseng with my father, and we broke the digging tool, and we fixed it in the spot there. And while he was working on it, that slipped and hit a nail, or so kind of like a screw that was going into the head of the digging tool, where it connected into the wooden handle, and put a sizable nick in there. So that's roughly the last time it was really used, back in the early 2000s. But what the heck, we'll go ahead and do some woodworking with this, since I drug it out here for everybody to see. Like I said, this ain't something I'm telling you guys to go get. You may not ever be able to find this again, but this is strictly a blast from the past video. So just stick with me here and we'll put it to work. With the wind blowing the way it is, I have little faith in that door staying open, so actually got high wind warnings for the day, so yay. But this here is just another knife that kind of proved to me that you didn't have to spend an absolute crazy amount of money to get a decent blade. Just pretty nice curls, no problem. Alright, let's find this. If we can find this, there it is. Ye old ugly stick. Now, I mean, I am putting no effort into these cuts. Again, I really wish I knew what kind of steel this was. Then again, I haven't bothered to actually look it up online. Now that I think about it, I may have actually at one point been able to find the steel for that. But if anybody's real interested in that and they want to check online, they're more than welcome to check on that. So all I can tell you, whatever kind of steel it is, it's pretty good steel. Holds a real good edge. And like I said, the battening damage that this thing has occurred. And I've let other people borrow and use this knife, and that some other people took it camping, and it was a bit more damage that happened to it because I'm pretty sure someone had used a piece of metal to use this to batten up small pieces of wood at one point. I can't swear to it, but just looking at the knife and what happened to it, and I had to believe that's what happened to it, and he held up to that. So. You know I had to batten some wood, right? Because I will tell you for a fact that this knife here has had uncalculable amount of wood battened through. That piece had some decent resin in it. I can smell it. Making a mess all over the place. Oh, there went the door. That wind is absolutely absurd right now. Okay. Let's get the old redneck sharpness test out of the way. Apparently I lost most of that hair. There's plenty of it yet on the blade. Is there a piece of paper? Old, wet, damp piece of paper. And that small nick in there does interfere with cutting that paper real good, so. But I never bothered to. I had to took a lot of steel to get that nick out of there, so I never did. Oops. Yep, that nick is definitely interfering with making a nice pretty cut, but for the most part. One day I may decide to try to take that nick out of there, though. I just didn't want to remove that much steel off the knife, and especially since I wasn't really going to be using this much anymore, if at all. Like I said, it's more of an heirloom of my past at this point. But it was pretty common design, especially. Okay, there went the door again. That's all right. Clip point design is pretty popular for a long time, especially back in the years of my youth. A lot of fixed blades usually sported a clip point design. Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane with me. Like I said, I'm not saying you can't find this knife anymore. If you're interested in it, it may be out there somewhere on the internet, eBay, maybe even. I don't know. I do have one more of these that is in brand new condition, and I can't tell you. It hadn't been that long ago I found it, and I might have been at a yard sale or a antique store or something like that. I found another one of these several years back, and I actually bought it and put it up because it's one of these that's virtually brand new. But this is my original, and this is what I'd taken out into the wilderness with me, practicing my skills and camping, and it's been a very enjoyable knife to own and use. I mean, I had all confidence in the world in this knife. It performed fantastic, and especially back then, it was a little bit harder to come by money, and that at that time, given my age and the area I lived in, you even for doing odd jobs and stuff, you weren't making a whole lot of money. Most of the time, all your time doing work out here was free because between farming and animal husbandry and just fixing and building and mechanicking and stuff like that, you pretty much had to do a lot of stuff for trade. You go help a guy, and then later on, if you needed help, that sort of thing. But like I said, I do believe this was somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 at purchase. So I do believe I got my money's worth out of this, and then some. But like I said, I hope everybody enjoyed. It's actually been quite enjoyable for me to pick up a lot of this old kit and go over it with everybody. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all in their video.